yeah, 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 oh, yeah, mm, yeah, born and dead, saved by love, count my blessings from above. Though in darkness, have no fear. Light will shine on those holding near. They know that sorrow they will pass. For I know in this life there will be something. But remember that love, yes it will. Love will reign. Yeah. Love will reign. Yeah. In my heart, I believe it. Love will reign. Oh, yeah, yeah. Have a vision, it's clear and plain. People living life, smiling again. Oh, see the children, they know no pain. Far from pressure, stress and strain. Oh, sorrow, they will pass. For I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But remember that love, yes it will. I know, yeah. Love will reign. Gotta believe it. In my heart, I truly believe. Sun will shine again, and love, I can hardly wait. We'll all be together. There'll be peace, peace, sweet peace, happiness and joy forever. Oh, yeah. One day, someday, hate will be over and love will reign. They won't last, for I know in this life there's gonna be some pain. But in the end, love will reign. Yeah. Love will reign. Said it in His word. Weeping may endure the night. Love will conquer all. Love will win the fight. So don't be discouraged. Don't be dismayed. Darkest hour just before the light. Hate will be crushed, fear will be gone, love will remain and go on and on. Though the road seems rough, my friend, we know how the journey ends. Oh, yeah. La, 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 la. La, la, la. La, la, la. Oh, oh. La, 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 la.
Love will reign. Welcome to another edition of Love and Stuff. I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist, and I'm hoping that whether you're watching us here live from the Love and Stuff community page, the Marcus R. Holmes page here on Facebook, on Twitch TV, or YouTube events, the HR Passion Guy, or watching us on the LAS Passion Guy on Twitter, click share and tag 5 of your closest connection subscribers or friends, 5 of the more popular ones, to join us as we continue in this month of breast cancer awareness to share information and hopefully inspiration to us all. You know, as we are coming out of the pandemic, as some say, coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people, particularly women, have maybe not handled some of the routine exams that we might consider to be routine. A lot of people have taken a break from going to doctor's appointments and visits, right? And because the health system has been really burdened and taxed, a lot of people couldn't, for various reasons, have regular checkups. I hope that today will help you to get back into that, especially in this month of breast cancer awareness, but for everyone, that you will get back into the regimen of doing health screenings. They are important, and you will learn later this month with one of our guests how important it is to go and get your screenings. Very, very important. And I want to share with you that according to some recent statistics, Black women die of breast cancer at rates nearly 40% higher than white women. 40% higher than white women. And it is important that you then go to ensure that you have the important tests, the mammograms, done as early as possible. Black women also, as you may know, have lower rates of health insurance and therefore have less access to some of the interventions that would be necessary. So it is important, critically important, that women, particularly Black women and men, get screenings. Some of the interventions don't work as well on the most aggressive types of breast cancer, and those are more common in Black women. So it's not just genetics, ladies and gentlemen, it is access and environment. And it is important that each person takes it upon themselves to be a committee of one to get the appropriate screenings and to encourage your sister friend, your wife, your cousin, your daughter, your mother, your aunt, all of the people in your family to get a screening. We are live here in the Love and Stuff community, and we have a focus on angel warriors tonight, those whose wings have been gained in this fight against breast cancer. I hope that you will join me, that you will drop in the comments the names of those great warriors whose lives have been handed over for life immortal, who have transitioned to the other side during this battle and fight against breast cancer. We want to forever speak their names. And it's important to us in the Love and Stuff community that you drop their names in the comments so that at the end of the month, when we do our closing moments in our live video cast on the 25th, that we can include their names. And if you want to, you can inbox us at the Love and Stuff community or any of the inboxes connected to any of these pages, and inbox photos as well along with the names. And we will include them because we want to speak their names in the hopes that people will never forget their contributions to our world, and never forget that until every person has been rendered cancer free, the fight continues against breast cancer. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I wanted to ensure in the Love and Stuff community that we paused. We realize that it impacts women far more than men, even though men, as an indirect, we are impacted indirectly mostly, but we are impacted as well. It is not lost on us that there are 77% women in the Love and Stuff community. And so we wanted to make sure that we encourage you and inspire you to do everything that you can for yourself, for your sister friends as well, to ensure that we all mobilize to ensure that lives are saved and not lost continually to breast cancer. Watch now as we share a video that I hope will help you be inspired and inform you on this very topic.
Breast cancer is the #1 most common cancer in American women. In this video, we pay tribute to some of the beloved popular newsmakers who have died of breast cancer. Kelly Preston starred in some of the most fondly remembered movies of the 1980s, 90s, and 2000s, including Jerry Maguire, Twins, and Sky High. Preston was also known for having one of the longest marriages in Hollywood. She and her husband, movie star John Travolta, were married almost 29 years after meeting when they starred together in The Experts. Kelly Preston died of breast cancer July 12, 2020, at the age of 57. Diahann Carroll was the groundbreaking star of stage and screen whose most famous performances included the TV shows Julia, Dynasty, and A Different World. She was the first Black American woman to win the Tony Award for Best Actress for her role in the Broadway musical No Strings, and she earned an Oscar nomination for the movie Claudine. Diahann Carroll died from complications of breast cancer October 4, 2019, at the age of 84. Suzanne Wong was the host of HGTV's House Hunters from the show's debut in 1999 through 2007. She also had a recurring role as Polly Wynn on the TV comedy drama Las Vegas. As a comedian, she won the Las Vegas Comedy Festival's Best Up-and-Coming Comedian Award in 2002 and the New York Comedy Festival's Andy Kaufman Award in 2004. Suzanne Wong died of breast cancer September 17, 2019, at the age of 56. Cokie Roberts was a pioneering journalist known for her work on NPR's Morning Edition, as well as co-anchoring ABC News' This Week with Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts. She was considered one of the founding mothers of NPR. Roberts was named a living legend by the Library of Congress in 2008, and she won 3 Emmy Awards and the Edward R. Murrow Award. American Women in Radio and Television named her one of the 50 greatest women in the history of broadcasting. Cokie Roberts died from complications of breast cancer September 17, 2019, at the age of 75. Elizabeth Wurtzel was the best-selling author of the 1994 memoir Prozac Nation, which told her life story of living with depression. The book detailed her mood swings, relationship struggles, and other mental health challenges all the way from her childhood through adulthood. Elizabeth Wurtzel died of breast cancer January 7, 2020, at the age of 52. Marni Nixon was the brilliant musical theater performer whose voice defined some of the biggest films of the 1950s and 60s. As a ghost singer, her soaring vocals were discreetly dubbed over the on-camera performances of Audrey Hepburn in My Fair Lady, Deborah Carr in The King and I, and Natalie Wood in West Side Story. Marni Nixon died of breast cancer July 24, 2016, 30 years after her first diagnosis. She was 86. Jackie Collins was the best-selling romance novelist whose books have sold more than 500 million copies worldwide. Her biggest hit, the novel Hollywood Wives, became a popular TV miniseries in 1985, featuring top stars like Candice Bergen and Anthony Hopkins. It made Collins one of the world's most famous authors, almost as well known as her sister, Hollywood legend Joan Collins. Jackie Collins died of breast cancer September 19, 2015, at the age of 77. Yvonne Craig was the actress known for portraying Batgirl as one of the most popular recurring guest stars on the original Batman TV show of the 1960s. She began her career as a ballet dancer, the youngest member of the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo. She is also fondly remembered for a colorful guest role in the original Star Trek. Later in life, she supported causes including free mammograms and equal pay for women. Yvonne Craig died of complications from metastatic breast cancer August 17, 2015, at the age of 78. Mary Ann Mobley acted in some of the most iconic television series of the 1960s and 70s, including Perry Mason, General Hospital, Fantasy Island, and Diff'rent Strokes. She first captured the nation's attention as the winner of the Miss America pageant in 1959, the first competitor from Mississippi to ever win the crown. 30 years later, she and her husband, actor Gary Collins, shared the stage to co-host the pageant in 1989. Mary Ann Mobley died of breast cancer December 9, 2014, at the age of 77. Chrissy Amphlett was the lead vocalist for the #1 hit Australian rock band, the Divinyls. Their pop single, I Touch Myself, was a fixture of radio airwaves in the United States in 1990, and their earlier 1982 song, Science Fiction, was named one of the top 30 Australian songs of all time. Chrissy Amphlett died of complications of breast cancer and multiple sclerosis, April 21, 2013, at the age of 53. Janice Voss was a NASA astronaut who flew 5 space shuttle missions, making her one of the 2 American women with the most journeys into space. Her astronaut assignments included robotics work, Earth mapping, and the first shuttle rendezvous with Russia's Mir space station. Voss also served as the science director for NASA's Kepler Space Observatory. She credited Madeleine L'Engle's science fiction novel, A Wrinkle in Time, for inspiring her as a child. Janice Voss died of breast cancer February 6, 2012, at the age of 55. Elena Reed was known to a generation of young Sesame Street viewers as Olivia, the neighborhood photographer and younger sister of Gordon. In the later 1980s, she co-starred in the sitcom 227 as Rose, the landlady of 227 Lexington Place. Elena Reed died of breast cancer December 17, 2009, at the age of 63. Lynn Redgrave was an acclaimed British-American actor who appeared in such diverse films as Gods and Monsters, Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Sex But Were Afraid to Ask, and the 1991 version of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, co-starring her sister, Vanessa Redgrave. Lynn Redgrave bears the unique distinction of being the only performer in history thus far to have been nominated for all 4 major entertainment awards, the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony, without having won any of them. But she did win 2 Golden Globe Awards, one for the 1966 romantic comedy Georgie Girl, and one for the 1998 period drama Gods and Monsters. Lynn Redgrave died of breast cancer May 2, 2010, at the age of 67. Naomi Sims was widely regarded as the first African-American supermodel, having broken racial boundaries when she appeared on the cover of Ladies' Home Journal in 1968. After retiring from modeling in the early 1970s, she started her own collection of beauty products, which eventually grew into a multi-million-dollar business. Naomi Sims died of breast cancer August 1, 2009, at the age of 61. Molly Ivins was a humorist and political columnist who brought a Texas sensibility to her years of writing for newspapers, including the Dallas Times-Herald, the New York Times, and the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Her column, syndicated in 400 papers across America, was credited with bestowing the nickname W upon President George W. Bush. Molly Ivins died of breast cancer January 31, 2007, at the age of 62. Syreeta Wright was a singer and songwriter who collaborated on some of the best songs of the Motown era, including hits from the Supremes and Martha and the Vandellas. Most famously, she wrote the hits Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours, and If You Really Love Me with Stevie Wonder during their brief romance and marriage in the early 1970s. Syreeta Wright died of congestive heart failure, a side effect of the treatment she was receiving for breast and bone cancer, July 6, 2004, at the age of 57. Rod Roddy was a television game show announcer most famous for his 17-year stretch on The Price is Right. He was the second and longest-running announcer to call contestants to come on down. In March 2003, 2 years after being diagnosed with colon cancer, he learned he was suffering from breast cancer as well. He spent the last months of his life as a spokesperson for early cancer screenings. Rod Roddy died October 27, 2003, at the age of 66, just 1 week after his final episode of The Price is Right aired. Nina Simone was one of the most influential singers of the 20th century, blending jazz and blues styles with a strong commitment to civil rights. Her songs Mississippi Goddam, For Women, and To Be Young, Gifted, and Black made her an icon of American justice. She also had commercial success with My Baby Just Cares for Me and her cover of Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. Nina Simone died in her sleep following years living with breast cancer, April 21, 2003, at the age of 70. Dusty Springfield was a beloved English pop singer whose musical career spanned from the 1950s through the 90s. Her most fondly remembered songs include her two biggest American hits, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me and Son of a Preacher Man. Dusty Springfield died of breast cancer March 2, 1999, at the age of 59. 2 weeks later, she was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Remember, regular breast cancer screenings are the best way to detect cancer early so it can be treated. There are currently more than 3.8 million breast cancer survivors living in the United States. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. You can also follow Legacy.com on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to discover the latest obituary news headlines and honor fascinating lives.
Some of the many names and faces may have been familiar to you because they had some celebrity. But for every one of them, there is a woman and or man whose name is not as well known relative to the fight in breast cancer and having gained angel wings like many of the people who you saw in the video, all of the people actually who you saw in the video. I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist, and here in the Love and Stuff community, we pause because it's not lost on us that 77% of women, our community is made up of women. And though only 26% is made up of men, that we're all impacted directly or indirectly by a woman who or man was an angel warrior who traded mortal being for immortality as a part of the fight against breast cancer. October, as you may well know, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we dedicate a couple of our shows in this month to this very cause, to partner with organizations so that we can raise awareness around breast cancer and hopefully shed light that will help to eradicate the impact, the presence of breast cancer in our world. And so I hope that you will take a moment and click share and tag someone, 5 of your closest friends, whether you're on Facebook or Twitch TV or Twitter, 5 of your more popular friends on YouTube events, to join us as we call out the names of angel warriors. And I invite you to drop in the comments the name or the names of angel warriors who now have wings, so that their names can be forever a part of the Love and Stuff Community Archive, as well as commemorated throughout a broader network and community of people, that there is still hope and love for them and their families. I certainly hope that as we go throughout this evening of information and inspiration, that you will share this information with others during a time when we've come out of the pandemic to some degree. And many people during the height of the pandemic, went without many of the routine treatments and checkups. We want to bring to your attention and to every person in your family, especially women, because we know they are impacted greater directly as it relates to breast cancer, and 40% or higher is the rate of women, African American women, who will die unless we find some cures and some early interventions, because it is, of course, a part of the statistics that I shared earlier, that the more aggressive forms of cancer impact more commonly African American women. So some of the interventions, if we catch it too late, aren't as effective. So it's important that we raise a clarion call for women, and for husbands for their wives, and dads for their daughters, and dads and sons for their mothers. And you get what I'm saying. All of the women, especially in our lives, to get back on track, to ensure that they are aware of the screenings and that they are getting the screenings, and where there are disparities in healthcare and health insurance, that we are standing in the gap to help them get the screenings that are necessary. It is so important to get those screenings. And so we wanted to take some time this evening to ensure that we highlight those angel warriors and hopefully ignite you to decide to make a difference. I'm going to share another video, and I hope that you will click share and tag others as we share more information, that you will click share so that others can get this information and make the vital decisions for themselves and others in their community to get screened. This is Love and Stuff, and we are sharing stuff that is important to us, that we hope is important to you. As we celebrate Angel Warriors, we want to bring light to breast cancer awareness.
I'm Dr. Judy Bowie, a breast surgeon at Mayo Clinic. In this video, we'll cover the basics of breast cancer. What is it? Who gets it? The symptoms, diagnosis, and treatment. Whether you're looking for answers for yourself or someone you love, we're here to give you the best information available. Breast cancer is a relatively common type of cancer. In fact, it is the most common cancer worldwide and the most common cancer diagnosed in the US. Currently, nearly 4 million women in the US alone are diagnosed with breast cancer. However, this doesn't make a diagnosis easier, but it does mean a great deal of research and effort is being put towards ending it. And it's working. Survival rates continue to go up as treatments get better and more tailor-made to each patient. Just like any cancer, breast cancer results from DNA mutations that instruct your cells to grow out of control. In this case, it targets cells in the breast tissue. And there's no single thing that causes these DNA mutations. There are a wide set of risk factors. But having more of these risk factors can increase your chances of developing breast cancer. More than anything, your risk is increased by being female. That doesn't mean men don't get it. Actually, men account for about 1% of all cases. Another factor is age. The older you get, the more likely a breast cancer diagnosis becomes. A history of breast cancer increases your risk too. That includes your own personal history, if you've had it before, and your family history. If breast cancer is common in your family tree, you are likely at increased risk of developing it. Scientists have identified several genes that, if inherited, are more likely to cause breast cancer. There are many, but the most common and well-studied are BRCA1 and BRCA2. While they don't make breast cancer a certainty, your chances of developing it are much higher with these particular mutations. Beyond that, radiation exposure at any point in your life increases your risk of breast cancer, as does having children at what is scientifically considered an older age. Starting menopause at an older age and taking postmenopausal hormones. And there are things that can decrease your risk. Self-breast awareness is one. Make note of any changes you notice in your breasts. Women aged 40 and older should get yearly mammograms. Early detection is really your best defense. Based on your other personal risk factors, you may want to consult with your doctor about starting at even a younger age. Limit alcohol. While not drinking lowers your risk the most, drinking in moderation lowers your risk too. Stay physically active and try to maintain a healthy weight. You can talk to your doctor if you struggle with this. In some cases, postmenopausal hormones are necessary and can't be avoided, but be aware that they do seem to play a role in breast cancer risk. And if you give birth, breastfeeding may reduce your chances of developing breast cancer in the future. Things to keep an eye out for that might be signs include lumps or thickening in your breast, changes in the size or shape of your breast, changes in your breast skin, or a new inversion of your nipple, peeling, scaling, or flaking of the areola, and redness or pitting of the skin over your breast that looks kind of like an orange. Most importantly, because these things may or may not be cancer, be sure to check with your doctor if you notice any of these signs. If you suspect you might have breast cancer, how do you find out? Doctors use physical exams, mammograms, ultrasounds, MRIs, and needle biopsies to determine if cancer is present. If that's the case, you and your doctor will need to discuss treatment options. Like any other cancer, breast cancer requires a smart and strategic approach. Your treatment plan depends on what you're up against, namely the size and the stage of the cancer. What type is it? Is it sensitive to hormones? Many questions have to be answered before you and your care team can put a plan together. Surgery is not always the first step. Frequently, medical therapy, such as endocrine therapy or chemotherapy, will be recommended first to decrease the size of the tumor in the breast or decrease the disease in the lymph nodes, and importantly, to evaluate the response of the cancer to the treatment, as this can be critical information to guide further treatment after surgery. But surgery is often indicated as part of the treatment, and that can mean just removing the breast lump, or sometimes removing the entire breast or both breasts, and usually involves removal of some lymph nodes from under your armpit on that side. Whether or not you got any treatment before surgery, you may need treatment after surgery. This could involve radiation and medical therapies such as endocrine therapy and chemotherapy. If the disease has spread beyond the breast and lymph nodes, surgery is usually not recommended, and medical therapy is the main course of treatment. Radiation uses beams of energy to target and kill cancer cells and prevent cancer recurrence in that area. Chemotherapy uses powerful drugs to kill the cancers. Some cancers are sensitive to hormones and can be treated with a different set of drugs. Hormone therapy has its own set of side effects, but your doctor will be able to guide you through best options for your specific cancer type. And then there's immunotherapy. Cancer cells blind your body's natural defense systems. Immunotherapy pulls off those blinders, so your body's natural defenses can do their job and zero in on their target. All of these treatments have side effects. Going through these measures that will ultimately heal you can be really hard. But there are ways to deal with that too. Pain management and other palliative care can help you deal with all these necessary but difficult processes. This can all feel overwhelming. A breast cancer diagnosis is a complicated and scary topic, so keep your friends and family close. Rely on them for practical and emotional support. Find someone to talk with, maybe a friend, relative, clergy member, or medical social worker. And a support group can be really helpful to connect with others who have been down this road before. The outlook on breast cancer has improved immensely. Research and scientific advancement have made this disease a very treatable one. With new and constantly improving therapies and expert care, there is plenty of hope. If you'd like to learn even more about breast cancer, watch our other related videos or visit mayoclinic.org. We wish you well.
wanted to share from the Mayo Clinic, and I do not own the rights to that video or the other videos that you will see today, but this is public domain information that I wanted to share with you. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and if you've experienced loss and you're in a grief place, whether it is someone who you have lost to this fight against breast cancer in any other way, I do recommend, of course, I am biased, but I do recommend the Gratefulness Journey every day. What are you doing in the next 30 days to transform your life? It does come from my personal account of dealing with grief and loss in my life. And I can tell you that even in that place of grief and loss, that there is still a space of grace for gratefulness, for you to walk in gratefulness and practice it every day. We're talking about breast cancer awareness, and the Mayo Clinic did a beautiful job in sharing information. I just want to share additional some of the myths that they share on the National Breast Cancer Foundation site that you can go to nationalbreastcancer.org. Finding a lump in your breast means you have breast cancer. That is a myth. Only a small percentage of breast lumps actually turn out to be cancer. One of the myths that I was not aware of that I thought was true. I didn't think men got breast cancer until several years ago when I actually knew someone who did. It affects men as well, and it's estimated that over 2,100, almost 2,200 men will be diagnosed or would have been diagnosed in 2021. Those results kind of lag behind. A mammogram can cause breast cancer to spread. Still remains the gold standard. No evidence to support that it's contagious, that you can transfer it, that if you have a gene mutation, that you're definitely going to develop it. All of those things, as well as antiperspirants and deodorants. There are no conclusive evidence that supports any of those claims. And I am thankful for the information from the Mayo Clinic. I hope that you will click share if you've joined us, and a number of you have across various areas. We're talking today, and we're going to speak the names of breast cancer awareness angels, those angels who gain their wings. We played a video earlier of some who have great celebrity, who you might know, such as Diane Carroll, one of my favorite and most beautiful actresses in my mind in the world, among many others who succumb to breast cancer and its effects. But you know names of people that may not be as popular. And I want you to drop those names in the comments. And if you will, inbox us those names with a picture, so that on the 25th, when we close out this month in our formal celebrations, our formal acknowledgments of warrior angels, that we can include their names and pictures as well. So please feel free to drop those names in the comments. I've tagged some people who I knew have either dealt with breast cancer, have had loved ones that have gained wings, that are staunch supporters of those that participate in walks. I hope that you will tag others so that they can join us in speaking the name of angel warriors against breast cancer. And thank all of you that have joined us. J. Gerald Harvey IV, thank you, sir. Sandra D. Sandy Hudson, Jennifer Jackson Horton, Valerie Colbert Osamwadi, Kimberly Ray, Stephen Michael Newby, Arthur Pryor Loving, thank you so much. Kim Wilson, thank you so much. Timothy Dennis, thank you so much. Dennis Hagray, thank you all. I hope you will click share and tag someone as we continue in this Breast Cancer Awareness Month to share information that I hope will inspire you and inform you as we have moved to some degree out of the height of the pandemic. Hopefully, we should be returning back to regular screenings, and everybody should be getting not just breast cancer screenings, your heart health, your thyroid health, all of the things that you are contending with and you kind of put off during the pandemic. We want you to get back on track, but especially in this month of October, we want women and men to get your mammograms, to get your screenings, because especially for African-American people within the African-American diaspora, the more aggressive cancers don't respond as well to interventions. So it's important that we detect it early if it is present and do something about it. And that starts with you getting those screenings. Very important. And I believe you will meet someone later in this month who will share to you why it is so important, share with you rather why it is so important to get those screenings early in the process. So very important. And so we wanted tonight to share information with you that we hope will help to inspire you. And here again, we're sharing some more information, a very poignant story, and I hope that it will inspire you to have some conversation with those that you love. So important that you understand the value of relationships, and in those relationships, that there are people that you love that need breast cancer screening. And I agree with Christina, who's commenting, please get screened, ladies and men. Though only 1% of men, and I don't want to say 1% to minimize it because every life matters, but 1% of men do experience breast cancer, do um, uh, receive a diagnosis of breast cancer. So we want to make sure that you get the screening. I hope that you were able to see the Mayo Clinic information. If not, rewatch it from the beginning. I want to share with you a story of one of the angel warriors that whose story caught my attention and continues to catch my attention. So I want to share this story of this warrior, Tara Ogunde. I want to share with you Tara Ogunde, who died June 7th of 2019 from triple negative breast cancer. She was 31 and was headed into her final year of law school at the University of Michigan, where she excelled. Before she got sick, she was an associate editor of the Michigan Law Review and had lined up an internship at the prestigious Davis Polk law firm in New York City. 6 years after graduating magna cum laude from the University of Pittsburgh with an undergraduate degree in business administration, Tara started law school at University of Michigan, her father's alma mater. In the years between college and law school, Tara served in the AmeriCorps program, worked at several corporate jobs, and traveled the world. Coming back to the campus with her, I was such a proud father, says her dad, Kun Lee, who earned his bachelor's of science in aerospace engineering and chemical engineering in 1978. During her first semester at the University of Michigan around Thanksgiving 2016, Tara started experiencing pain in her left breast, her mother says. A chest x-ray ordered by the Student Health Service didn't turn up anything, and she finished out the rest of the school year without seeking further treatment. On July 6th, they got a definitive diagnosis: breast cancer. Triple negative breast cancer, to be more specific, so named for its lack of estrogen receptors, progesterone receptors, and human epidermal growth factor 2 receptors. Triple negative breast cancer tends to be aggressive and, due to the lack of these receptors, has been difficult to develop effective therapies against. In the US, the incidence of triple negative breast cancer is much higher among Black women, like Tara, than white women, contributing to lower overall breast cancer survival rates among Black patients. Tara also didn't carry a defect in her BRCA1 gene. The gene is the one most frequently mutated in triple negative breast cancer patients. And mutations are more common in African American patients than white patients. Tara took a year off from law school to pursue treatment at Penn Medicine, the University of Pennsylvania's health system, which included a mastectomy of her left breast, chemotherapy, and radiation. She returned to the University of Michigan in the fall of 2018, but her cancer had spread to her lungs and pancreas, for which she received additional treatment at the University of Michigan Rogel Cancer Center. By November, she and family decided it would be best if she returned to Pennsylvania, where her longtime oncologists were located. The law school allowed her to finish out the semester remotely. Even when she was in the hospital, she was on the phone with her professors. She was on the phone with the dean, finding out what work she needed to do and giving them updates. Marty, the law school's assistant dean for student life, recalls how, as she navigated her treatment, Tara only became more determined. Earning a law degree, especially a Michigan law degree, meant so much to her. She would resist any adjustments to degree requirements or academic expectations. She wanted to meet the same thresholds her fellow students were expected to meet. I highly doubt I will ever meet someone who was so focused, so dedicated, he says. She was humble yet persistent, flexible but assured. Only her best qualities came out during the worst stages of her cancer. Her dad adds, even though she was in the hospital and receiving treatment, she was determined to keep going right up until the very end. Oncologists are usually focused on the individual patient. And so Dr. David Smith attended the memorial as an opportunity to pay respects and share the experience with people who knew the patient best, her family. Another angel warrior, Tara Ugunde. And I'll share one more photo of her and her family. She is pictured the second from the right. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Powerful Money Tools LLC. This is Christina, your money coach, and I'm going to hop on here real quick and record a video about making a budget, my favorite thing.
That was the money coach, Christine Smith, who is a part of the Love and Stuff community and is the owner and proprietor of Powerful Money Tools LLC. If you want to get your finances in order, Christina is your partner to go down that journey and road. Contact her. She is Powerful Money Tools LLC on Facebook, or Christina Smith. Thank you, Christina, for your partnership. And I hope that many of you that are seeking a better road and way to finances will reach out to Christina. You'll be so glad that you did. We are sharing breast cancer awareness and hopefully encouraging and inspiring you through information to have conversations with the women in your life and men about what needs to be done in awareness. And today, a little different than last week where we talked about survivor's remorse, we cannot forget the cloud of witnesses of angel warriors who now have wings, who fought this battle that is more prevalent than lung cancer, have fought this battle against breast cancer. And so we wanted to bring light to them and light to information that in their great spirit, in their indomitable spirit, that you would share this conversation with your families. It's so important that everyone gets screened. I want to share one more video in the hopes again to inform you and inspire you to have the conversations around awareness. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I hope that you understand that this is a life and death matter, and we want to choose life in early detection, early awareness, and therapies that will work, particularly for African American women.
It's just sometimes I catch myself like, how can the world still be going on and you're not in it?
A sentiment Glennis Boyd Hughes is finding so very difficult to accept. She lost her 38-year-old daughter, Gabrielle, or Gabe, to cancer in April. 3 weeks after a terminal diagnosis, it put the mom of three out of her job as a certified nursing assistant. Boyd Hughes is heartbroken thinking about how much her daughter was dealing with.
And as I've been going through her things, settling things, I found out that she actually had planned to have a friend drive her to work like a couple of months before, because whatever the things going on with her, she wasn't connecting it to cancer.
Her daughter passed away from the same disease that claimed the life of her sister Nicole a few years prior, triple-negative breast cancer. It's why she's now on a mission to raise awareness about the disease, encouraging everyone to know their family history and potential health risks. Mom says even as she battled the disease, Gabe put everyone else's needs before hers.
And I think maybe if she could have got care sooner, if she thought she could pay her bills and didn't have to depend on her family.
Mom watched Gabe faithfully working a job helping hospice patients despite her own need for care. She wanted to ensure she could still provide for her three sons. So before she died, Gabe urged her parents to sell her prized shoe collection for funds to help her sons.
My husband created a website, and it's Gabe's Kicks for a Cause. But she has so many, and we've only put some of them on there. And so the plan for the sneakers is to put 20% for each of the boys, 20%, to help with the household expenses, and 20% to donate, half to Massey and half to St. Francis Hospice.
The family is determined Gabe's death won't be in vain. It's why Mom added an extra touch to her daughter's memorial service, coordinating Massey Cancer Center experts to set up a cancer awareness display table and providing a mental health resource table for anyone who needed it, putting valuable life-saving information at the fingertips of those who knew and loved Gabe.
And she was really sick, but she was still taking time to think about me and other people too.
Mom and family members are hopeful that raising awareness about triple-negative breast cancer will one day help others, their way of honoring Gabe for the heart that she had for other people. Now, if you would like to support Gabe's Kicks for a Cause, go to WTVR.com and we'll post the link. Working for you, Shelby Brown, CBS 6 News.
Hi, everybody. This is Darren, inviting you to join me next Wednesday, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for Love and the Scriptures. Questions, the difficult questions about love. That's what we'll be dealing with. Think about, what are the difficult questions you have? What are the hard questions about love that have worked with you? We'll talk about it next week. Come back and be with us then. Love and the Scriptures, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Love and Stuff platform. See you there.
See you there tomorrow. We had a little bit of Seeing Some Black, but see you there tomorrow with Darren Williams and Love in the Scriptures, which is our newest Facebook video cast. And we're excited about what Darren is doing each Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, exploring what the scriptures have to say about love. Now, maybe you don't subscribe fully to the scriptures. I think Darren's approach is just for you. It's the Bible study where you don't have to feel like that you are going to be asked some questions that you don't know. You get to ask Darren questions about, hey, what does the Bible say about self-love? We were talking about self-love and exploring self-love. What does the Bible say about what love should be? What love should do? How do you put it to action? What are the practical applications of love? If you have any of these questions and more, join Darren Williams at 6 p.m. right here on Love and Stuff, right here in the Love and Stuff community for Love and the Scriptures. You don't want to miss that. I'm so excited because there are so many angel warriors, but because I had the opportunity to know some of them. You know, in my work, people say in my day job as a human resources practitioner, I have been privileged to meet thousands of people, and I'm fascinated by people and people behavior. And in my journey through human resources, a part of that journey has been, a large part of that journey has been with the city of Detroit, here in Detroit, Michigan, as in various roles in human resources. All of them giving me the opportunity to meet these people, fascinating people, different people. And in one of those roles, at least one of those roles, of course, I would have had the opportunity to be sitting on the other side of the table from various labor partners or unions. And I can tell you that there are many stories that I think I should put in a book relative to those unions. There's one young lady who became a union steward. When I first met her, she wasn't a union steward, but she became a union steward. And she was really serious about understanding the contract and understanding how the contract supported the members of her bargaining unit, of her union. She was a fierce advocate for those people and a fierce advocate for herself as she was walking through the journey of breast cancer. I knew that she was a gutsy person. I knew that she was a tough person. I knew that she would go toe to toe with the best of them. And she was the kind of person that if she didn't understand or needed to go back and study something, she'd go back and come back and say, now I know my stuff, Mr. Holmes. I understand. She was a fierce warrior until the end. And I want to speak her name, Meletus Glover. I will never forget her. I will always speak her name as a fierce warrior in the fight against breast cancer. I had the opportunity several years ago when she made her transition to attend her service, and everyone had the same thing to say about her, that she stood up for what she believed in, and she was an advocate for those that were underrepresented. That was the story of her life. She meant to do good and to positively impact other people. And so I speak the name Meletus Glover, that it may never be forgotten, that her family and those that loved and knew her and worked with her will always recite the goodness that was her and will embody the indomitable spirit that was her to fight until the end. Also, in that time and journey, during my continued time at the city, I met another young lady among many angels, and I hope that many of you will share pictures and stories in the inbox with us so that we can utilize them on the 25th as we do our closing of our formal awareness month. But there are many ways that you can continue the work to go on, and we hope that you will join us in doing that. There's another young lady who was not fully the opposite, but in most regards, you would meet her and see the sweetness about her. Now, if you came up against her the wrong way, you'd see another side, but she was just the sweetest person. And her name was Shanita Biles. She also was a young lady that I had the opportunity to meet as she was meet before she entered into this battle with cancer, breast cancer, and she fought in that battle valiantly. And many coworkers and those around would remark about how she fought with that same sweetness and same grace and same kindness. You know, sometimes people who are perfectly healthy or seemingly so aren't very kind. And if you just think about that, there are people who are fighting battles that you know nothing about, battles in their mind, battles in their body, battles with dis-ease. It says something to me about a person who fights and goes through with the same kindness and sweetness and gentleness that they did when they were in perfect health. And when I think of that, I think of Shanita Biles. I speak her name because I want her name to reverberate not only in the halls and walls of the city, and not only in the satellite offices and mobile places of the city, but in every place, so that people will know that there was a working witness of a person who went through her journey with grace, dignity, love, kindness, and sweetness. What a lesson for us all, that as life brings us bitter, we can still be sweet. Thank you, Shanita Biles, for teaching us that lesson. Thank you for the life that you shared and life space that you shared, that we could all speak your name. I hope that all of you will drop in the comments the names of angel warriors. And I invite you to send the pictures, the photos, the testimonials, so that we can include them on October 25th, the last Tuesday of this month, as we close out our formal celebrations. I say formal celebrations because you can join the Breast Cancer Foundation by purchasing a Hope Kit for a woman to have some of the necessities that she will need as she goes through this journey. You can purchase a mammogram and donate it to someone who might not have the resources or access to it. And there are many other ways that you can volunteer. And we will be sharing throughout this month how we can keep the awareness going, keep the light going, so that we can both illuminate and eradicate this dis-ease that has impacted so many women and men throughout our country and our world. We want to increase the amount of love in the world. And one way we do that is awareness. Is to let those that have dealt with breast cancer and those whose families have struggled with it and are dealing with it, that you are not alone. And that beyond our prayers, we have our support, our inspiration, and information to help you along this journey. And what kind of world and community will we have if we all pitched in to say, we're in this together? That, my friends, is increasing the amount of love and kindness and greatness in the world. I can do more of it, and so can you. Love is all about the quintessential love that is God. He is love. He isn't making love. He is love. And he wills you and I to receive his love, to receive his essence, and then in turn to love him with everything we have, mind, body, soul, and strength. And then our neighbors like we love ourselves. If you love yourself, won't you get screened? And if you love your neighbor, won't you remind him or her that they need to be screened? If you love yourself and you realize that you're inextricably tied in this universe of love to other people, then you know that there is care and custody that's needed for those that are going through this world and experiencing dis-ease. May you and I be called to be peace, to be balance to someone that is in dis-ease. And may we be light that both illuminates and eradicates. This is Love and Stuff. And I am honored and privileged that for a number of years we've been able to come with Love and Stuff as we're falling in love with a new time at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because love is not just the amorous feeling between you and your husband, between your boo, between your honey and you. Love is about reaching out to those who are in a time of need, who need to know that they're not alone. It's not just the kiss or the great sex. It's not just the intimacy or the morning coffee. It's not just the favorite kiss or the favorite spot. It is the opening of your heart to increase the amount of love in the world. And I know quite often on this platform, we bring you salacious topics, and we will continue. But we want you to understand that love is not just salacious. Sometimes love is sobering. And I hope that you will hear in this month, in a sobering way, that love is calling you and me to stand in the gap and speak up for those whose strength has been challenged. Love is calling us to stand up and to make a difference. I hope you will join me in doing that. And if you're committed to doing that, you should go to the Love and Stuff community page and click follow. And if you've done that already, you should tag this page in the post and say, I'm in for love. I'm in for love. And when someone asks you what that means, say, I'm increasing the amount of love in the world from where I am. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be more. And I hope you will join us in doing just that. I'm so excited that you are here with me, and I hope that you will join us next week. You don't want to miss next week's great show. Next time on Love and Stuff. That's right, the Clevelands are back. Taft and Sue Cleveland are here in another episode of Loving the Cleveland. You don't want to miss it. You'll get the chance to hear the answers to what are the 3 things that couples should do and what are the 3 things that couples shouldn't do. Well, Taft and Sue Cleveland, Loving the Clevelands, will be here with us Tuesday, October 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to answer those questions and many more. And hey, they may have time to answer your questions live. Don't miss it. See you there.
Yeah. 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 Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Born and dead, saved by love, count my blessing from above.